basically is. IIC established as per norms of Ministry of Education Innovation Cell in academic year 2018-2019. IIC Galgotias University received 4-star rating by Ministry of Education Innovation Cell in academic year 2021-2022 and 2022. Galgotias University recognized in band excellent in ARIA ranking 2021 by Ministry of Education Innovation Cell Government of India. Galgotias University received Certificate of Appreciation by Intellectual Property Office, Delhi, Ministry of Education. I'm so proud to tell you that we have around 13 innovation officers, 20 innovation ambassadors, 19 faculty innovation coordinators, 19 faculty entrepreneurship coordinators. The university has set up its incubation center as Galgotias Incubation Center for Research, Innovation, Startup, and Entrepreneurship. GIC Rise in 2020. Currently, GIC Rise has around 35 startups in the pre-incubation stage. Among them, 16 are registered on MSME. 8 startups are in the incubation stage and are registered as private limited LLP entity. We have 8 graduated startups, 60 plus innovation cell members. We have organized 31 events in the academic year 2020-2021. We have organized 60 events in 2021-2022. We have filed 960 plus patents, and we have around 100 plus alumni entrepreneurs. Now, moving forward to our speaker. For today's session, we have our speaker, Shailesh Upreti sir. Shailesh Upreti sir is an IIT Delhi alumni and former team member of Professor Stan Whitman, Nobel laureate, the inventor of lithium-ion battery. With 20 plus years of experience in developing strategies to advance technologies, his scientific and entrepreneurial work has triggered and influenced many projects in academic as well as in industry. Mr. Upreti is well known in the industry for establishing and stabilizing an ex-China supply that includes 200 plus global brands. Mr. Upreti is currently the CEO of C4V and Chairman of IM3 New York, largest homegrown Gigafactory started initial production recently. Mr. Upreti's expertise lies in bridging the gap between meaningful findings from early stage of development and commercialization. Mr. Upreti has received Entrepreneur of the Year award from the New York State government for his leadership in establishing a lithium-ion battery manufacturing ecosystem in New York. He recently won $500,000 cash prize in one of the largest clean tech business competitions. Also, Entrepreneur of the Year award from New York government, and also recognized as 50 most influential entrepreneurs in the energy space. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, Shivangi. First of all, thanks to Galgotias University for having me today. I also would like to thank Professor Lalit Prasad and Professor Gaurav Kumar. And I believe Dean Sir, Professor A.K. Jain would be either joining or hosting the event. So thank you everyone for inviting me today. It's an honor, and I feel privileged to be part of this event. And I was also very excited to hear a lot of innovation cells, innovation activities, and various professors helping students drive the excitement and interest towards the innovation. And looks like there is an incubation center built to foster growth of entrepreneurs and help entrepreneurs to bring technologies from their minds to their labs to hopefully market. So that's very exciting. Professor Gaurav Kumar, I do have some slides. I don't know how you want me to start. I can
Yes, sir.
start with the slides.
Yes, sir. Actually, this event is all about of sharing your success story with our faculty member as well as our innovation cell student and Galgotia University student. We have participants from different background like MBA, the LLB, engineering, basic science, pharmaceutical science. So all will be enlightened by your talks, sir. So you can share your screen also. You can also interact.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, sir.
Let me see if hope all goes well on the screen share. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay, just perfect. So thanks again. It's a bit early morning for me here in New York. Hope you would enjoy the talk. And please feel free to interrupt if anyone need to ask any questions. Definitely want to make it very interactive. Uh, the kind of
Sir.
topic I chose for, um, are you able to hear me well?
Yes, sir. You are
Yes, sir,
audible,
we
sir.
Hello.
are.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. I'll just make sure the internet sometime is not supporting, but good. So today, primarily, I thought if it is about innovation, then the topic should be about you individually, all of students, I would say, who are looking into creating career and build career, build companies, build products. And it's a different skill set. I think entrepreneurship, and I'll talk about it. You can't really learn about entrepreneurship. No one can coach you entrepreneurship. I think it's always in you, in your DNA somehow. I think, but there are certain things that definitely help you recognize your inner self, and I think that's what I feel like. Today's topic will be ideal. Synchronizing best of yourself, you identifying the best attributes of your own self, and then take one step at a time, and never rush. It always takes time to build things, and never get disappointed or discouraged as you start things. It is anything new will always have challenges. So now with that topic, I thought I'll quickly introduce my company a little bit, so you know who I am and where I come from and my background a bit too. Let me see. So yeah, as a company, what we are looking at is powering world's transition to clean energy now and for many life cycle. What that mean is we all use energy in different forms, from using your electricity in your home to office to your laptop and driving your cars or scooters, or whatever mode you use, back and forth. Energy is part of our daily life, and without that things get very challenging, right? When we have power outage, we start facing that challenge. If you don't get a transport from your home to your college, you will start, having challenges. So energy is very, very important. But what is more important is to make sure that when this energy is being produced, wherever, whether it's in the power plant or thermal plant, and transported to your homes and your phones and your laptops, it is not creating environmental impact. So clean energy is part of that. Make energy available, but it should not have any bad footprint or any toxic or carbon footprint behind the scene. So our focus is to make sure that as we grow as a human race, we come up with ideas and thought process where we are not polluting the environment, and at the same time we are able to meet our basic needs. Our company started in 2000, around 2010-11 timeframe. We've formed, product was launched in 2016. And this year we started one of our factory, which is actually pictured here on the bottom left, bottom right for you, I believe, um, which shows the current factory which started. And this is one of the largest factory in USA producing lithium-ion battery cells. today. So we built this in last 10 years from scratch, and just two people started. We are right now 150 team members. So it's a good, exciting journey for us. And I do have a short video. I don't know if you will be able to hear the voice, but it's only 2 minutes, and I wanted you to see what we do. We look into the molecules, which is material science, chemistry. We look into the manufacturing, which is primarily, mechanical engineering, electrical, civil, lot of engineering involved. And then we also look into the software side, which we call the brain of the whole manufacturing plant, that involve a lot of softwares and data side of the equation. So I'll try to play this, but please stop me if you are not able to hear the sound or any challenges.
Okay, sir. It is not audible, sir. So you can share your sound
Eh,
also. Yes.
Sound not audible?
No, sir.
Okay. In that case, I think I'll skip the video then, because are you not able to see video either?
Sir, video is playing, sir.
Video playing, okay.
Yes, sir.
Actually, let me try it once more. Yeah, sorry. So maybe you couldn't hear the video, but at least I hope you're able to see what we do. We primarily build these chemistries and designs and cell and the batteries that could go into any electric vehicle, from scooter to bicycle to all the way buses, trucks. And also they are used in household or grid scale powering homes and schools and wherever the energy is needed. In principle, the renewable energy is always intermittent, right? The solar and wind only available certain time of the day, and electricity is needed 24/7. So to fill that gap between the availability of renewable, which is sun and wind, and by the time you use it, the batteries become an integral part of that energy system. And we kind of fit into the value chain. And the left-hand side is typically mining, refining, and right-hand side is the electric car. And we sit in between these on the value chain, where making these chemistries and cells and battery packs. So I hope that gives you a quick overview of what my company does. And this is again a quick overview of our Gigafactory, we call it, where giga scale manufacturing happen. About right now, our capacity is like 12,000 cells every day. so very high capacity plant. And yeah, so that's about my background and what we do as a company. Personally, I come from a state called Uttarakhand in India. It's a foothill of Himalayas, the northern part of the country, where India shares a border with Nepal and China. And obviously, I grew up in a small town and village actually, up near Almora town, and studied there, and also spent a good part of my childhood there. Later on, did my Ph.D. from IIT Delhi, and then came over to US to work with the Professor Stanley Whittingham, who invented the lithium-ion battery. He also won the Nobel Prize in 2019. So I had the privilege of working with him for almost 5 years as a postdoc. And after that, I left academia and moved to industry, worked upstream in a value chain in chemical manufacturing. And one fine day, left my job about I would say 10, 11 years back, and became entrepreneur. My first company was in recycling, then started C4V in around 2012. And that's pretty much, a little. But during my, let's say, time at IIT and working with Professor Stan Whittingham, I had the uh, pleasure working with various groups and various research scientists, various young minds to kind of learn from and apply that into my own skill sets and build my own career. I think I'm showing some of the places that I had the opportunity to work when I was in India, from north to south and east to west, various labs and various universities. Then eventually today, we are doing businesses from our US, but also we have various other factories planned across the globe in Australia, also Southeast Asia, plus Europe. In addition to the US factory we have just made live this year. So my area of focus, which probably you would want to learn a little more about or know more about, and so we can have some interactive question answers. I see I have already spent 17 minutes, so I'll try to finish in the next 12, 13 minutes. So we have at least, good part of 20 to 30 minutes for the question answers. And my area of focus is again bringing new products to market, mostly around the clean energy storage, also how to enter into new markets with unique strategy. So that involves sustainable business development activities, and also how to create strategies for clean energy businesses, because this is new industry, new things are happening. So you always have to not only innovate the product, but also how to launch that product or introduce it into new markets or in existing markets with unique strategies. And I do have obviously technical degree, but also MBA. So it helps, when you have a little bit of business understanding along with the science and engineering knowledge, always helps you through, navigate and channel through the difficult, day-to-day decision making challenges you may have to incur. So I would say knowledge accumulation is very, very important. While I did say that entrepreneurship can never be, learn from others, it's always in you, it defines you, but at the same time, it need to be complemented and catalyzed or activated by the knowledge that you do need to implement and build your unique positioning in the market. My area of focus and, let's say, expertise on the basic education side has been always chemistry, physics, and mathematics. But later on, I went into material science and engineering. Material science and engineering is a kind of combination of various different streams from science as well as engineering. It involves physics, chemistry, power electronics, computer science, mechanical engineering, also industrial engineering. Not that I have to be expert in all that, but I think I need to know enough to plug my knowledge so that we can create a knowledge chain, right? Knowledge in itself, stand alone, may not be helpful until you connect it to the relevant context. And that's the context you get when you start learning about other things. And I'll give you an example. If you use your iPhone itself is combination of many things, right? Or a phone, let's say smartphone, not iPhone. Any smartphone, it has a battery inside, which involves a lot of chemistry. It has circuit boards that involve, electronics, communication. It has a software that, when you call someone and save names, it kind of gives you interface. It has a lot of user interface that involve even designs, right? So just a simple phone has so many areas of expertise combined together, and that phone would have not been possible if those skill set didn't work together, like those minds didn't combine their forces together. The phone would have not been possible, right? And so is the laptop, and so is like we communicating today, sitting 8,000 miles to each other, would have not been possible if those brains didn't work together and combine the knowledge package. So that's very, very relevant. But material science in general has a lot of significance in our day-to-day life, from food and agriculture to healthcare, energy, which is my area, but even in education, environment, space research, biological research, which part of healthcare. All these material science plays important role, and it allow you to diversify a little bit from the basic, let's say, core science or a specific stream of engineering. And the focus for me, and which I think I'll dive a little deeper, is on the energy storage. I think I explained the energy storage, but this image shows you uh, how we can harvest energy or harness energy from various sources that are naturally available. Rather than burning them, you can, like burning coal, you can use windmill or solar panels to generate electricity, and that electricity become part of our human society in every sphere of life. But then before you use it, because renewable is not very reliable in terms of when it is generated, because you never know when the sunny day going to be, or at all it will be sunny or rainy, or wind will be flowing or not. So you have to have that demand to supply gap filled by storage system. And that's where I think batteries play important role. I think batteries in general, in our mind, always we think about, a car battery that starts the car and all, but it is actually much more and beyond that. Particularly if you have been using phones and laptops, you know the importance at least small scale. When you charge it and then the whole day it's, yeah, like your friend, right? It's you can order cab, you can order food, you can do a lot of things with your phone today, reply and do phone calls and video calls. So all that is possible because you are able to packet that energy in a small box and use it on the go. Now that use is now expanding. It's really going beyond your mobile phone and laptops. You may have seen in the market nowadays, you have two-wheelers, three-wheeler scooters, cars, buses, all, even trains in India are electric trains now. So the electricity is getting into whether in the batteries or directly feeding like electric trains. It's making life much more accessible and enjoyable, and also makes you, on the entrepreneurship side, opens a lot of opportunities for you to now think about what you can do in this growing area. It's a new field, it's evolving, and which also means it has many challenges, and challenges come with opportunities for people who solve problems and, want to take the best benefit of it. I'm trying not to make this a science presentation, but it's the basic of a battery. Typically, there are four components, which I'm sure you all know: cathode, anode, and electrolyte and separator. These typically control the 80% of the cost and performance. So whatever chemistry or molecule you invent, or you work, or someone else work, and you want to take it to market, it revolves around these four, and that's what determines how long your phone will be lasting after you charge it, or when it will completely be dead, like no more function, or safety. Sometime you may have seen at one point some of the phones in the market started catching fire. So that's battery catching fire. So it could be very dangerous and human life threatening, particularly if it is part of your electric car. You don't want to drive a car that has a battery that could explode anytime, right? So safety, human safety is very, very important. Goes down to these components, which again connects you to your, science and engineering basic deliverables. And we feel when these things are happening, the innovation is coming to market. Very, very important to have a correlation and coexistence of academia and industry. Right? Academia is education hub where like your university, Galgotias University, where you are developing your skill sets. You have great mentors, professors, wonderful leaders teaching you, whatever they have learned in life. Also, the science and engineering side of it. How basically you take your knowledge base from, like, let's say, basic level to an excellence level, and that is very, very important for us as a society to grow, because without that basic education and beyond basic education, right? Because now you are at university or beyond basic education, you are into advanced education, advanced engineering. Most of you probably will be either building a product, building a company, and building careers and building brands. So it's beyond that, right? And that comes with, I personally feel, this is my opinion, that comes with various different components, and that these are the components that you should have in you when you're connecting that knowledge to an industry or whatever you want to do in your career eventually, right? And those components I think I have highlighted here. Confidence is one of the most important aspects, right? No one is perfect. We sometimes feel like, oh, either it's a language issue, I can't speak English, or I can't speak Hindi fluently. All that, just forget about it. Language doesn't define you. Whichever best term you can define yourself, just use it. You don't have to be always speaking English, or you are good in your language. You can always ask for a translator to help you if you have the right language. But confidence is very, very important. You should not let your confidence down because you didn't know a language. That's all I'm trying to say, right? And confidence is beyond language as well. Like when you go, your body language, your overall way to answer question, again, doesn't necessarily that you should always know the right answer. You can with confidence say, sorry, I don't know, right? So confidence is a different matrix. Then creativity is very, very important, particularly for entrepreneurs. When you are planning to either launch a product or take a technology from your lab to market, or coming up with a new idea to market or build a brand, I think creativity becomes very important. Creativity is not just about uh, creating nice images and showcasing and advertising. It involves a lot of deep thinking about how you can build a product that is solving a real problem rather than other way around. Sometimes people come up with a product and then they figure out where it will fit, and that's might work for lucky people, but not always, right? And one of the most important thing, I think, which I highlighted earlier, you must be a team player. Team building and team working in a team become, we know from childhood, like when you play cricket to whatever football, whatever game you play, it applies throughout your life, whether in your family, whether you're in your friend circle, whether again in your office and work. You have to work in a team and a cohesive way to solve problems, because it's almost impossible for a single human person to know all the subject knowledge and be expert in everything. And where we are as a society today, you may day-to-day basis get surprised, right? So many things come to your life, from cutting as a robot in your whatever you see, to people now, even hospitals, you see maybe in advanced tools doctors use to diagnose things, right? There are so many technologies are being advanced. So sometimes you must be wondering, like, how people invent that, right? And it's as a result of people working in a team. No one single person can solve problem. then also you should have the willingness to take challenges. If you run away from challenges, that's kind of one of the let's say indication that probably entrepreneurship is not then built for you, or it's probably not part of your DNA. So again, this part you can't learn. It's always in you. You should also be passionate about what you're doing. No product or no company or no job is small. Sometimes we hesitate that, oh, maybe it's cleaning up this thing, it's a small job. No, I don't think there is anything that is called small or big. I think society is changing. It was used to be a small or big at some point maybe, but now I think whether we are one part of the country, whether we are one part of the society, or whether we are one part of the even sometime we have a lot of different social boundaries, like let's say hierarchy in the society, or this is a lower society. As I don't think that matters to any of the entrepreneurs. I think you have to be passionate about your work, and as long as you do that, I feel you are creating opportunity for yourself, which means you are now at that point. I think you are able to connect these two things, which are very, very important, the education and the business side, right? With those skill set developed, you're able to balance these two things in life very, very well. And as a result, you can go and you can create innovations. Innovation doesn't necessarily mean innovative product. Again, it could be anything that is innovative, right? Innovative business model, innovative art and craft. Innovation could have many different definitions. But what you definitely will have an ability, go from your academia to an industry that kind of balance between the brain and the money. Because when you start into business world, you have to and you must think about how to create value, and that also sometimes means money, in many people's mind, right? And it is important part, by the way, because if you don't create money and value, you can't scale it, you can't, it's the fact, right? It's the reality. So we also have to realize the money is important, but I think it should not be prioritized over the knowledge. Knowledge will always will have much higher value than money. So the balance between these two is very, very important in your kind of innovation cycle and your growth journey and your overall life goal that you want to achieve, because the disbalance between two could really be the downfall for people, right? And so I think, to me, what exactly entrepreneurship is build your own business. That's how we call it, right? Many of us worry that as soon as we are about to graduate, that, oh, I have to now go and I didn't find a job, I have to interview, can I, maybe whether I will find a job. So half of the people are worried before they even graduate, or about to enter the, let's say, the career world. um, they're more worried about finding job than creating jobs. So I think many of you, it's not again everyone's cup of tea, but many of you probably have this entrepreneurship passion inside you. You definitely need to try it out, because we all have one life and we don't always get opportunities throughout the life. So passion is, you have to have that passion and perseverance to start something. No business is small. You can always start with small. In fact, you must start with small, so that you can have a lot of this other learning you need to build the businesses. And always take baby steps. Small steps are very, very important. This sometime, as I mentioned earlier, we try to build a product and then try to find a market for it. I think it's not the right approach. You always need to find a problem first. And if you're able to solve it, and you're solving it in a way that someone is willing to pay for that, either service or a product, I think you have probably cracked the nut. I think that's what is very, very important part in having that, kind of making sure that it will work in long term. That's a good indication of that. And also, no easy give up, means never lose hope, never say I'm done. And I think it always takes time. It takes many years, sometimes minimum maybe 10 years to really be, realizing the actual outcome and the value of what you did. So with that, I think this is my last slide. I hope I didn't bore you guys too much. The quick output is knowledge and communication is very important. And in the area, if any one of you are, let's say, part of the material science, which I think I categorized a lot of areas involved in that, there's a huge potential to build new products, build new career. Also, combining your knowledge with the entrepreneurship skill set could be very interesting, because when you graduate, you might be creating jobs rather looking for one. So with that, I will stop and hand it back to Professor Gaurav, and hopefully you enjoyed the talk. And I'm also happy to answer any questions that you would like. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for the enlightened talk. And dear participant, if you have any query, you can ask. But sir, I have one query.
Yeah.
Sir, uh, how you have collaborated and you have established your company in USA, as you are and studied in India. So can we know the thing, because participant is asking in the group only. So as the India, if we have studied in India, then how we can grab the chance to establish our company in other country?
Yeah, I mean, today's world is very global, right? I'm sitting here in the US, and I'm able to speak to you one-on-one. That's the beauty of the transformation, technology transformation that is happening. So if you can talk and you can speak, you can, work, you can always do business as well. I think it's not difficult. Um, Definitely, there are some roadblocks. You have to find out how to overcome those roadblocks. Whether you want to get here yourself, like I did, and do the business. But I don't think doing business in the US is the success criteria or something. I think that's one of the parameters I wanted to highlight, that we always think the Western world, or the, let's say USA is advanced, or, and that's the only way to succeed, or I don't think that's true, right? We have a lot of opportunities in the country within India, a lot of good success stories in India. And I think we need young Indian people to work in India and transform the Indian society more than outside. So yes, I have. I didn't have that fortunate. Maybe I would come back and do and serve the country. But I think it's important that we do something in India. And if you are able to do that, you can do anywhere in the world. Like if you can build business in India, I can tell you it's most difficult place to build business. Once you have done in India, you can do it in US easily.
Okay, sir, I have some other question, and participant have other question also. So Dr. Lalit sir will interact with you.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
I hope, yes. Thank you so much for your valuable and informative talk. Your success story will certainly motivate our young students and faculty member as well in the field of innovation. So there are so a number of questions the participants are asking. So Dr. Gaurav, you can interact with regarding the question to the sir.
Okay, sir, I would like also request you to kindly present a token of love to
And
the
even
sir.
Yes, there is some question which I would like to ask you, sir.
Okay.
Actually, sir, you just mentioned in your slide there are some green tech, means lithium-ion battery for the green as a green source of energy. So, is it there is some green technology has been adopted on this making this battery, or some kind of heavy elements or some other kind of things had been removed in this, which is having in conventional batteries. So is it there that direction you had done something for developing
Yes,
the
yes.
new age battery?
Yeah, no, thank you for that question. Yeah, so we had, so if you typically, if you're using your, smartphone or laptop, the batteries mostly have metals like cobalt and nickel. And cobalt has a lot of challenges, environmental challenges, also availability challenges. 60% of the cobalt is found in a specific country in Africa called DRC, Congo. So sourcing that from one country is a very, very challenging task. And also, as we need to get into electric car and electric vehicle market, you will not have enough cobalt. And even if you do, you will be damaging environment. So we have eliminated cobalt completely, like we use zero cobalt in our batteries. And also the other metal we have eliminated is nickel. So our batteries are cobalt and nickel free. We use some of the metals that are already well known in steel industry, so we're not disrupting the environment. It's steel has been, a lot of use of that in various spheres of life, and already supply chain is well established. So we kind of created molecule that is able to deliver better performance utilizing the existing other supply chain. So yeah, so and by doing so, we have basically created this clean tech, which is also affordable and also environmentally less damaging. I hope that kind of, in short, answer the question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I have another question. Sir, actually, in Galgotia University, we have an full-fledged incubation center also, where 38 startup has been incubated. So, for my personal query, how we can attract the investor from the foreign country to for our incubated startups?
Yeah, no,
Any-
very good question. And I think there are two ways I can answer that. The first thing, I see a lot of people are trying to start companies. Obviously, there's a big race in the country, which is very good thing, by the way, that we want to start companies. But I think I did highlight that companies should be started to solve a problem. That should be the
Yes, sir.
core of it. You are solving a problem, and sometimes it could be other way around. Like people are trying to, let's say, do this. They feel like it's easy to build a company and or start a company, and then maybe raise money, and the investor will be putting a lot of money, and then they will there will be no challenges, and that typically doesn't happen. With new startup raise and thousands of startups across the country, is investor also have certain criterias, right? Where and how they'll put money. And but I'll answer that, how that can be done. But uh, before that, I think one thing that entrepreneurs really need to realize, that money is the last thing you need to build a business. Like, we raised a lot of capital. We have raised, in excess of probably $300 million so far, and then a big capital being raised to, fund our factory. Um, that capital raise is part of your growth, right? Capital. So money is the last thing you need to build a business. You need to put the rest of the pieces together. You have to have a problem-solving product. That's the very, very important part. You have to have the right market for it, right? You have to have a very strong team, because without team, no investor will put the money. Just one person trying to do everything is very challenging to fund as well. So team building. So these are three things that are very, very important. Then the fourth thing is profitability, how you show it. So which means the basic unit economics. Sometimes these many businesses running at losses for 10 years, and that's not good. Yeah, we understand there'll be losses initially for 2-3 years, but the business has to generate profit after 4 years, 4 year, 5 year, bare minimum. Otherwise, why would someone put their hard-earned money in the business? Because if they cannot get a return on their investment, they'll not see any light, and they'll not put any capital. So, that said, I'm sure that your incubator already doing this coaching and teaching entrepreneurs, but I'm maybe repeating it. Um, but once you have these pieces right, I think there's a lot of foreign investment coming in India. There are so many investors every year, billions of dollars being invested. Whether you look into the startups that had become, in India, we call unicorns or big companies that are built, most of them have received, foreign investment. So access to capital is there. The investors are also there. I think what is needed is how you put those 4 5 pieces together before you reach out to them. Because if you go and reach out to them too early, you lose their interest. So you do have to show the proof of these components. And then in order to, because money transfer from one country to other country is also regulated. It's not easy that someone likes and they'll invest. So there is a bit of administrative work and compliances and regulatory requirements that investor have to fulfill. So you cannot just go to any investor. So there are certain certified investor, venture capitalist who you can go. I'm happy to connect to people if anyone has, these right 4 or 5 pieces. I'm happy to connect to some of the guys with investor base here in the US and see if that helps. But I feel investor will come to you if you have these 4 or 5 pieces together. They'll one way or the other know about you because it's a unique combination of skill sets.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Any participant, if you want to ask, then you can ask directly. I have unmuted you all. If you have any query, you can ask.
Good evening, sir. I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Sir, what is the estimated market size for this lithium-ion battery? And also, like, there is an alternative for this lithium-ion. Like, we also have sodium-ion batteries that is also coming up actually. And can you just elaborate on this?
Yeah, so estimated market obviously right now, by 2030, it is believed to be exceeding $1 trillion because of automotive segment minimum. It could go up to $4 trillion total, right? That's the size. Today, it's probably around 400 to $500 billion already globally, because there's a lot of scale happening and very rapidly. India is just starting, and for that reason, because India entering late into this game, also a challenge of how to secure the supplies of lithium and how to make it cost-effective way. And because it's late, we are also exploring if there is any alternate to lithium ion, so that we can, produce these batteries in a cost-effective manner. And that's where sodium ion or zinc air or some aluminum air, there are many other technologies, flow batteries are being explored. But lithium ion is the most advanced right now because there's no other technology. Even sodium ion cannot beat lithium in energy and power density. So if you need to drive car from, let's say, New Delhi to Mumbai, right? It's a big distance. If you have to charge it 10 times in between, and each time you have to spend 3 hours to charge, you will probably not enjoy that journey, right? So the longer range that you get with lithium ion, I'm not saying it will get you from Mumbai to Delhi in one charge, but it can be charged faster, which means, and then lithium ion also has the power density, which is when you're going uphill, you need a lot of power to drive the motor, right? The thrust. So that lithium ion delivers. Sodium ion is still under development for those markets. Sodium ion could be helpful in storing solar energy or wind energy where you don't need weight or power much. So I think that's where you need to really figure out what market, which segment you're addressing. And definitely sodium ion has a bit more potential in terms of getting the price down because sodium is available in every salt that we use. So availability is not a challenge. Lithium has availability challenge, which means it's a cost. The cost is one of the barrier. But if you can remove that barrier, I think there's a lot of plus side of lithium ion because lithium is the lightest metal, so it moves very fast, gets you high power rapidly. I hope that answer your question, Swaminathan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? People are sending. Vishal Paul. Vishal, you can unmute yourself and you
Yeah,
can
I think
directly ask.
I have read the message. So electric cars are facing many problems because of lack of charging hub station in India. How to solve this issue? And that's where I think, you know, um, as I said, people need to solve that issue. We or all of us, our responsibility to solve that issue. Um, Particularly for some of you are entrepreneurs, you can come up with ideas how to solve that issue. Yes, there are challenges. The good news is, unlike diesel and petrol, which comes from all the way in the sea, gets refined and transported in tankers and trucks, electricity is, at least if not all part of the country, it is major part of the country already have electrical system. You may need to upgrade it. So electricity is already there, and sun is already there everywhere, right? Sometimes it's 200 days, somewhere it's all um, uh, 300 plus days. So converting that energy, maybe having that transported to charging stations, and charging station requires certain power electronics skill sets. So it will take time. Yes, India is developing that infrastructure. Government is putting all the incentives, like there's a FAME 1, FAME 2, then PLI schemes to incentivize companies and entrepreneurs to come up with ideas. I know at least two entrepreneurs who have built already countrywide charging station companies. So people are doing it. It takes time to build anything. So nothing will happen in 1 year or 2 year. It's a 10-year journey. But that's the future. There's no other solution. We have burned diesel and petrol enough that was available, that if we don't find a replacement solution in 60 to 70 years, it will all be all gone. So you'll not have petrol or diesel to fill in your car in 60, 70 years. So you have to come up with a solution. I think that's probably, yeah. So that hopefully, maybe not answering your question directly, but at least my views on that. Vishal, hope that helps.
Okay. Sir, some question again arise that, sir, as you are the CEO of company, then what is the most important thing you have learned at this position? The student has several queries,
Yeah,
but
yes.
yes.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely have, I learn every day something new for sure. I think what the most important thing I did learn is teamwork. We initially thought only this guy or that person or one person can solve. That's not true. So the most important aspect, I would say, is actually a team building and team effort. That's the important thing I learned in my position.
Okay. So now Shivangi,
Thank you.
you can go. Yes.
Yes, sir. I hope all of you can agree with what Sir said, that innovation is within you and it just needs to be catalyzed at the appropriate time. I hope, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your highly motivating and inspiring story. Your remarks must have enlightened the youth to opt the path of innovation. Now, I would like to call upon Swaminathan, sir, Dean, School of Electrical and Electronics Communication, to present the memento of honor.
Yes, Swaminathan, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful time. We kindly request you to accept this memento on behalf of this Galgotias University. Thank you for your wonderful presentation, sir.
Thank you, Swaminathan sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you once again, sir, for joining with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. appreciate that. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Namaskar.
So now, dear participant, our next speaker is joining in 5 minutes. So you have to wait for the 5 minutes only. He will join and will enlighten you with their innovative approaches and ideas. So please be with us. In the last of the session, I will share the feedback link to, you have to fill out the feedback link to generate the certificate of the session.